Welcome to Trending Unpacked, the show where we break down the stories everyone's talking about and explore why they matter. Today, we're embarking on a truly fascinating journey, one that takes us back in time, only to find ourselves very much in the present. We're talking about Graham Greene. Yes, the Graham Greene, the venerable English novelist who departed from this world back in 1991. Yet here we are in 2025, and his name isn't just circulating, it's practically trending, capturing significant cultural attention decades after his passing. It's an intriguing puzzle, isn't it?
It really is.
What makes an author whose heyday was arguably, the mid-20th century feel so incredibly relevant right now, almost 35 years after he wrote his last line? This isn't just some quiet literary revival. It feels like a palpable resurgence.
It does indeed. There's a definite buzz.
And we have some compelling clues as to why. There's a fresh wave of captivating film and streaming adaptations, which are introducing his intricate worlds to completely new audiences.
That's a huge factor, definitely.
Then there are significant literary anniversaries prompting thoughtful reissues of his iconic books, and even ongoing cultural debates that seem to find startlingly accurate reflections in his writing.
Right, it's like his themes are suddenly echoing louder.
Exactly. So our mission in this deep dive is to unpack exactly who Graham Greene was, to pinpoint the specific reasons for his contemporary resonance, and crucially, to discover what his masterful navigation of moral gray zones can teach us about our own increasingly complex and often polarized modern world.
A very worthwhile mission. His work offers so much in that respect.
This is where it gets really interesting, so let's jump right in.
It truly is a remarkable phenomenon, when an artist's work transcends its era like this. To find new life and meaning, particularly in a landscape as fast-paced and ever-changing as ours.
Absolutely.
Graham Greene's resurgence is, I think, a powerful testament to the enduring human need for stories that grapple with universal conditions, stories that don't shy away from the messy truth of existence.
The messiness is key.
While his works have always held a significant place in the literary canon, this current surge feels different. It's a renewed, widespread engagement that seems to be drawing in readers and viewers from across the spectrum.
And to truly appreciate this moment, we really must first understand the man himself.
Agreed. Context is vital.
So let's begin with the foundation. Who exactly was Graham Greene? He was, by any measure, an extraordinarily prolific and versatile figure, wasn't he?
Oh, incredibly so. Born in 1904, passing in 1991. And you're right, he wasn't just an English novelist. He was a master of many narrative forms. A brilliant short story writer, a very keen journalist, and an accomplished screenwriter, too.
He seemed to possess this insatiable curiosity about the human condition and the world around him, channeling it into all these diverse outlets.
Absolutely. And I think what truly defined Greene and carved out his unique niche in literary history was his extraordinary ability to seamlessly blend what many considered high literary artistry with broad popular appeal.
That's the really interesting part for me.
He consciously resisted the notion that profound themes had to be inaccessible, or that gripping narratives couldn't also be intellectually rigorous.
Which is quite a stance at the time, wasn't it?
It was. Think about it. During his era, there was often this perceived chasm, between the serious literary novel lauded by critics but perhaps read by fewer people.
The highbrow stuff?
Exactly. And then the popular genre fiction, the thrillers, the spy novels, the adventure stories, which captivated millions but sometimes perhaps lacked that deeper resonance.
Right. Entertainment versus art, almost.
Greene was a pioneer in demonstrating that these categories were not mutually exclusive. He crafted stories that were both critically acclaimed for their intricate psychological portraits, their nuanced moral explorations, their stylistic precision, and widely accessible due to their compelling plots, suspenseful pacing, and relatable human dilemmas. This blend was and remains incredibly significant.
Why so significant?
Because it allowed his powerful themes to penetrate a much broader cultural consciousness. It sowed the seeds, really, for the widespread impact we're witnessing today.
That balance is incredibly difficult to strike, though. It makes me wonder, how exactly did he manage to achieve both that popular appeal and such profound literary depth simultaneously? Sounds almost contradictory to some.
It's a question right at the heart of his genius, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it speaks to his understanding of storytelling at a really fundamental level.
Okay.
Greene understood that a reader, regardless of their intellectual inclination, is first and foremost drawn in by a good story. Simple as that sometimes.
Get them hooked.
Precisely. So he mastered the conventions of genre fiction, the spy thriller, the psychological drama, the tale of pursuit. He would hook you with a compelling plot, often set in these exotic, politically charged locales.
Creates atmosphere.
Definitely. But then within those taut, suspenseful frameworks, he would populate his narratives with incredibly complex, deeply flawed characters, grappling with profound moral and existential dilemmas.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Take Brighton Rock, for instance. On the surface, it's a gangster novel, a crime thriller set in, well, Brighton.
Classic setting.
But beneath that surface, it's a searing exploration of sin, damnation, and the nature of good and evil through the eyes of this truly terrifying young delinquent, Pinky.
Pinky. Unforgettable.
Or think about The Third Man. It's a classic noir film, yes, but the story uses this thrilling chase through post-war Vienna.
Iconic. The zither music.
Exactly. But it uses that chase to delve into deep questions of loyalty, betrayal, and moral relativism. He didn't shy away from ambiguity at all.
No clear heroes or villains.
Rarely. His protagonists were often men and women wrestling with faith and doubt, with conflicting loyalties, with the sheer weight of their own consciences. So readers were entertained by the sheer narrative drive, the plot. But they stayed for the challenging questions, for the emotional resonance, for that lingering feeling of, what does it all mean, long after the final page?
And its thematic scope was indeed incredibly broad, yet always very distinct, wasn't it? You mentioned recurring themes.
Yes, very distinct. He dove deep into powerful recurring themes, the complexities of Catholic faith, profound moral conflict, intricate international politics, and that shadowy, utterly captivating world of espionage. It's a rich tapestry.
Definitely rich.
It is, and each thread is pulled with such precision. He seemed obsessed with the human soul in extremis, whether that extremity was spiritual, political, or emotional.
How did his faith play into that?
Well, his Catholic faith wasn't just a personal belief system. It became a powerful lens, a way for him to explore guilt, redemption, sacrifice, and the often paradoxical nature of grace.
And the politics.
His journalistic background was key there. He'd worked for the Times, traveled extensively. This gave him an unparalleled insight into the geopolitical landscape.
So he saw things firsthand.
He did. And he masterfully wove these insights into thrilling narratives, often set in real-world hotspots. Think Vietnam, Haiti, the Congo, sometimes long before they became front-page news.
Ahead of the curve.
Often, yes. And espionage, which he himself engaged in during World War II, well, that provided the perfect backdrop for exploring themes of betrayal, divided loyalties, and the inevitable moral compromises inherent in that kind of world.
Wow. So these aren't just abstract themes. They are universal human conditions seen through Greene's unique, unflinching gaze.
Exactly. Unflinching is a good word for it.
It's clear, then, that Greene's stories offer more than just a captivating read. But if we dig a little deeper, what specific insights are academics and readers still unearthing in his writing that resonates so strongly today? What keeps them coming back?
That's a great question, because the insights are incredibly multifaceted, and they really do continue to evolve with each generation of readers.
Because it's not static.
Not at all. Academics, for instance, frequently dissect his narrative techniques, his masterful use of limited third-person perspective, that economical yet incredibly evocative prose, or how he subtly integrates symbolic Catholic imagery into seemingly secular plots.
The technical craft.
Yes, or they might analyze his creation of archetypal characters, this sort of Greenland populated by morally compromised figures. Or his unique way of evoking atmosphere and psychological tension.
Okay, that's the academic angle.
Yeah.
What about the general reader?
For the general reader, I think the draw is often the sheer psychological depth of his characters. Their raw internal struggles, their painful compromises, their often desperate search for meaning or belief in a chaotic world.
Relatable, even decades later.
Very relatable. His exploration of conscience, guilt, the pursuit of redemption, whether framed in religious terms or purely existential ones, offers a timeless mirror to our own human experience.
So for someone maybe looking to rapidly grasp complex societal or individual dynamics, Greene's useful.
Immensely useful. He offers not just historical context for past conflicts, but a profound framework for understanding enduring human nature and moral quandaries that transcend specific time periods. He essentially shows you how to look at human choices in high-stakes situations.
That gives us a really solid understanding of the man and his enduring craft. Fantastic. Now let's pivot to the immediate moment.
Okay.
We've established his legacy, but what's igniting this fervent interest in Graham Greene, specifically now in 2025? Is it just a cyclical rediscovery, or is there something more profound taking hold? Our sources say he's trending due to a significant wave of renewed interest.
This is where the confluence of several powerful factors becomes strikingly apparent. It's not just one thing.
Right.
The primary catalyst, as our sources highlight, seems to be an exciting new wave of adaptations for both film and streaming platforms.
Ah, the adaptations.
Yeah.
Always powerful.
Hugely powerful. Imagine, for instance, a gritty, atmospheric new Netflix series adapting Brighton Rock, really delving even deeper into the psyche of Pinky Brown.
I can see that.
Or maybe a prestige miniseries based on the power and the glory on a platform like HBO, bringing its powerful themes of faith and sacrifice to a global audience with real cinematic grandeur.
That would get people talking.
Exactly. These new visual interpretations are incredibly significant because they act as powerful gateways. They introduce Greene's intricate and compelling narratives to entirely new, diverse audiences.
People who might not read the books first.
Precisely. People who might not typically gravitate towards classic literature. A meticulously produced series or film can suddenly make a decades-old narrative feel immediate, urgent, and undeniably relevant.
And they might change things, update them.
Well, these adaptations often skillfully recontextualize or highlight different facets of his stories. They reflect contemporary directorial and screenwriting sensibilities, ensuring they resonate powerfully with modern viewers. They don't just retell the story, they often offer fresh interpretations that spark new conversations.
Right. It's like a whole new generation discovers the depth of these narratives through a medium they're already engaging with, rather than necessarily starting with a physical book. It's an immersive entry point.
Exactly, an immersive entry point.
And beyond the screen, we also have literary anniversaries and reissues playing a significant role in this current buzz you mentioned.
Absolutely. Think about the strategic timing. 2025 might mark, hypothetically, the 75th anniversary of the classic film adaptation of The Third Man.
Oh, right. A big one.
Or perhaps a major posthumous recognition of his birth or death anniversary. Commemorative events like these naturally bring his entire bibliography back into the public eye.
And publishers jump on that.
Of course. Publishers, always keen to capitalize on such moments, release stunning new editions of his books. And these aren't just simple reprints.
What's different?
They frequently feature fresh critical essays from leading literary figures, updated introductions that explicitly draw connections between Greene's original context and our present day, or even striking new cover art that appeals to contemporary aesthetics.
Makes them feel current.
Exactly. These elements effectively invite both longtime devotees and new readers to engage with his work anew. They offer fresh perspectives and encourage a reevaluation of his place in literary history.
And all of this seems to be creating a fascinating ripple effect, reigniting broader cultural discussions. It's not just about the stories themselves, is it?
No, it's the conversations around his influence, his historical context, and the ongoing relevance of his themes in a public forum.
Where do these conversations happen?
Everywhere, really. Discussions proliferate in literary journals, certainly, but also in online forums, on social media platforms, and podcasts like ours, and even in mainstream media outlets.
So it breaks out of academic circles.
Absolutely. People begin debating his enduring place in the literary canon, how his nuanced views on, say, colonialism or the complexities of faith might be reinterpreted through a contemporary lens, or how his characters' relentless moral struggles echo our own dilemmas today.
That kind of buzz keeps them relevant.
Precisely. This kind of robust and widespread public discourse is invaluable. It's a dynamic force that keeps an author's legacy not merely preserved, but vibrant, pertinent, and constantly evolving in the collective cultural consciousness.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me, because the source material points out that the core resonance for today lies in his exploration of moral ambiguity and political tension. It feels especially relevant in today's polarized world. So how do these new adaptations actually help bridge the gap between classic literature and modern audiences, especially for someone looking to gain knowledge quickly or get a more nuanced understanding?
That's a crucial point. For someone aiming to grasp complex ideas efficiently, and perhaps more importantly, viscerally.
Feel it, not just read it.
Exactly. Adaptations are an incredibly powerful tool. They provide an immediate visual and emotional entry point into Greene's intricate worlds.
Faster than reading the book.
Well, a well-crafted film or series can convey the subtle nuances of character motivations, the fraught political backdrops, the sheer psychological weight of moral dilemmas much faster and often more impactfully than dense prose might initially.
So it distills the essence.
Yes. The visual medium distills the essence, making the initial absorption of plot, character dynamics, and thematic undertones quicker and more engaging. And once that emotional hook is established,
They might seek out the original.
much more likely, yes. An audience member is then much more likely to seek out the original text, armed with an initial, rich understanding that makes the deeper dive less daunting and far more rewarding. They bridge that initial knowledge gap, transforming what might seem like an old, perhaps intimidating book into a compelling story you've already begun to experience and understand.
So it's not just a shortcut to basic plot points, but an emotional and conceptual entry point that encourages deeper literary engagement later. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But let's delve into this idea of our polarized world. You hear that term a lot. What specific aspects of today's deeply polarized environment might make Greene's themes of moral ambiguity particularly resonate with people right now?
It's a great question. Today's world, with its relentless rapid-fire news cycles, the isolating echo chambers of social media,
Yeah, the bubbles.
and the constant, often exhausting pressure to take definitive, unequivocal sides on every conceivable issue. It frequently struggles with nuance, doesn't it?
Completely. Everything feels black and white.
Greene, conversely, doesn't just embrace nuance, he revels in it. His characters rarely, if ever, fit neatly into simplistic good or evil categories.
Flawed people.
Profoundly flawed individuals, often trying desperately to do their best in impossible, morally compromising situations. Or perhaps making terrible choices driven by what they perceive as good intentions.
That sounds familiar.
It mirrors the overwhelming complexities we encounter daily, doesn't it? Both in our personal ethical choices and in the grand theater of global events.
Like trying to understand politics today.
Exactly. When we grapple with the actions of political figures or attempt to comprehend intractable international conflicts, it is almost never a clear-cut case of right versus wrong.
No easy answers.
Greene's narratives offer us a profound framework for understanding these shades of gray. They allow us to empathize with differing perspectives, to see the human cost of rigid ideologies, and maybe to resist the urge to simplify what is inherently complex.
So, in an era where information overload can ironically lead to oversimplification,
Greene encourages us to lean into the discomfort of complexity, which is, I think, a vital skill for critical thinking today.
that's a fantastic way to put it. He almost gives us a toolkit for navigating our own complex moral landscapes, making his work less about historical fiction and more about a timeless guide.
I think that's fair, yes, a guide to complexity.
Let's delve even deeper into how he achieved this by decoding his enduring relevance through some key theories and interpretations of his work.
Okay.
First up, his literary legacy as a true pioneer. The source material describes him as one of the very first authors to successfully bridge the gap between popular thrillers and serious literature. This is where the aha moment really happens, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Because
Yeah.
this bridging act was nothing short of groundbreaking for the landscape of 20th century literature.
Really? Groundbreaking.
Oh, yes. As we discussed prior to Greene, there was often this distinct, almost impermeable division. You had genre fiction thrillers, detective stories, spy novels,
The page turner.
widely enjoyed for their entertainment value, but often dismissed by critics as lacking serious artistic merit. And then you had serious literature,
It's Horton's stuff.
which explored profound themes, received critical acclaim, but sometimes alienated a wider readership with its perceived intellectual density or maybe lack of narrative drive.
Right.
Greene effectively dismantled this artificial barrier. He demonstrated with undeniable brilliance that a story could be intensely suspenseful, feature compelling spies or detectives, engage in thrilling chases,
All the fun stuff.
and yet simultaneously explore profound questions of morality, faith, guilt, existential dread, and political responsibility with the same depth, psychological realism, and stylistic sophistication as the most revered literary works. He didn't just merge the two. He elevated genre fiction by infusing it with literary gravitas without ever sacrificing its gripping, page-turning appeal. He showed that you didn't have to choose between narrative propulsion and intellectual weight. You could and should have both.
So how did he manage that? How did he elevate genre fiction without losing its gripping appeal? What were the specific narrative techniques, the character depth, that let him pull that off so consistently?
He was a true virtuoso of atmosphere and psychological realism. That's key. His characters, even those caught in the most thrilling and perilous situations, were never one-dimensional caricatures, never just plot devices.
They felt real.
Deeply scarred, often wrestling with internal demons, ethical compromises, existential crises that felt profoundly real and relatable. Plus, Greene employed this vivid economical prose.
Economical.
Yes, often described as having a journalistic precision, perhaps due to his background. It grounded even his most fantastical or melodramatic plots in a believable, often quite gritty reality.
So the style helped.
Immensely. And the tension in his stories wasn't merely a thrilling chase, the unraveling conspiracy, the threat of violence.
He was internal too.
Profoundly internal. the struggle within a character's conscience, the battle between their ideals and their actions, their longing for spiritual peace amidst moral turmoil.
I see. That dual tension.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
made the stakes feel much higher, much more human, and it resonated deeply with readers, whether they were seeking a thrilling escape or a profound meditation on the human condition.
So this ingenious blend is what makes his work accessible to such a wide variety of readers, from those just wanting entertainment to those seeking deeper philosophical insights.
Precisely. All within the same captivating narrative. It's quite an achievement.
That's a brilliant dissection of his craft. Now, shifting gears slightly from literary architecture to the deeply personal, let's talk about what has often been called the burden of belief.
His faith.
His religious themes, specifically his pervasive use of Catholic imagery, spark an ongoing debate that continues to this day. What is this debate all about, and why is it so enduringly relevant?
Ah, yes. The debate surrounding Greene's Catholic imagery is one of the richest and most enduring aspects of his critical reception. It's fascinating.
What's the core of it?
Well, Greene himself converted to Catholicism in 1926, and his faith undeniably permeated much of his work. It shaped his worldview and provided this incredibly rich symbolic language.
Okay.
So for some readers and critics, especially those coming from a religious perspective, his novels are essentially Catholic allegories. They explore core theological concepts, sin, grace, damnation, redemption, the nature of evil, through a specifically Catholic lens,
Right.
often through characters who are profoundly flawed, yet somehow touched by something akin to grace.
The Catholic novel.
Sometimes called that, yes. However, for others, particularly perhaps in our increasingly secular age, the religious imagery is viewed more as a powerful literary device.
A framework.
Yeah. Exactly. A robust framework for exploring universal human struggles. It's not necessarily about endorsing Catholic dogma, but rather about utilizing the moral and theological structures of Catholicism. Concepts like mortal sin, confession, penance, the suffering Christ figure.
To explore bigger questions.
To delve into fundamental human questions. The nature of good and evil, the crushing weight of guilt, the possibility or impossibility of redemption, the search for meaning, and the spiritual dimensions of conflict that exist quite independently of specific religious doctrine.
So it's almost like a rich metaphorical language he employed, a powerful shorthand for exploring complex ethical and existential dilemmas, which can be interpreted even by those who don't share his specific faith.
Precisely that. His narratives allow readers of any background or none to grapple with the spiritual dimensions of conflict, the profound ethical dilemmas, the difficult moral choices his characters confront.
So you don't need to be Catholic to get it.
Absolutely not. You don't need to be Catholic to understand the anguish of profound guilt, or the desperate longing for forgiveness, or the struggle to act morally in a compromised and often amoral world.
What specific concepts did he focus on?
Greene was fascinated by pity as a moral force, by the notion of scandal, not just gossip, but actions that lead others into sin, and by the idea of the appalling strangeness of the mercy of God.
Powerful ideas.
Very. And while rooted in theology, they speak to universal human experiences of compassion, ethical responsibility, and unexpected salvation or grace.
And why does the debate continue now?
I think the debate continues in a contemporary context because even as overt religiosity may decline in some societies, the fundamental ethical and spiritual questions he raises remain paramount, utterly relevant.
People still grapple with guilt, purpose.
Exactly. People still grapple with profound guilt, seek a sense of purpose, question their moral obligations, and confront the human capacity for both immense good and terrible evil. His work provides a sophisticated vocabulary for these timeless human experiences, whether you choose to frame them in religious terms or purely existential ones.
It's like he shows us that even in doubt, there is a kind of faith.
Or that the struggle itself is often what defines us.
Yes. Okay, shifting from the spiritual to the geopolitical now, Greene also had an incredible sharp political lens. His incisive critiques of Western involvement abroad, particularly through his journalism and his novels, they resonate so strongly with current geopolitics.
They really do. Eerily so sometimes.
Let's really home in on The Quiet American as a prime example of this prescient vision.
The Quiet American, yes. It is, without exaggeration, a truly seminal text in this regard. And it feels as fresh and urgent today as it must have upon its publication back in 1955.
Set in Vietnam, right? Early days.
Set in Saigon during the nascent stages of American involvement in Vietnam, yes. The novel offers an astonishingly prescient and nuanced look at the complexities and inherent dangers of foreign intervention.
Nuanced how? Not just anti-American.
No, Greene doesn't simply present a simplistic black and white view of the conflict. Not at all. Through his three central characters, Thomas Fowler, the cynical, weary British journalist who believes in detachment.
The observer.
Alden Pyle, the naive, idealistic, yet ultimately dangerous American intelligence agent who believes in a third force to save Vietnam.
The idealist.
And Thu Vuong, the beautiful Vietnamese woman caught between them through them, he masterfully explores the complexities, the hubris, the cultural misunderstandings, and the often disastrous, unintended consequences of well-intentioned yet deeply misguided foreign policies.
So Pyle means well.
Pyle, despite his sincere belief in bringing democracy and a clean solution to Vietnam, is utterly blind to the local realities, the historical context, the profound human impact of his abstract ideals. His actions, driven by this simplistic ideology, inadvertently fuel violence and chaos, leading to tragic outcomes for individuals and the nation itself.
It's a powerful narrative precisely because it avoids easy answers and portrays the human cost so vividly.
It does. It's devastatingly effective.
How does that narrative and its critiques resonate with current geopolitics? Because sadly, similar dynamics seem to play out repeatedly.
They do. Greene's insights into power dynamics, the lingering shadows of colonialism, the dangers of ideological purity, and the often catastrophic outcomes of international relations remain acutely insightful today.
In what way?
Well, we continue to witness heated debates about interventionism, don't we? About the efficacy and ethics of foreign powers attempting to shape the destiny of other nations, whether through military presence, economic leverage, or the imposition of cultural values.
Right. Constant debate.
The Quiet American doesn't preach. It dramatizes the moral dilemmas. It shows the profound cultural chasms and the tragic human cost when external forces impose their ideologies without a true, humble understanding of local realities and the complex, messy tapestry of history.
So it highlights the enduring challenges.
Exactly. The enduring challenges of international relations and intervention that continue to be debated globally, from the complexities of nation-building efforts to the impact for foreign aid, or the moral quagmires of proxy conflicts. It shows that often fatal gap between noble intentions and devastating, unforeseen outcomes.
And importantly, this isn't about taking sides in current conflicts.
No, absolutely not. It's about recognizing and understanding the recurring patterns of human behavior and international dynamics that Greene so accurately observed and dramatized with such force.
And he managed to weave such complex political analysis into engaging narratives without ever becoming preachy or didactic. That's a skill few possess, especially when tackling such charged topics.
It's his literary genius at play once more, isn't it? He didn't write political tracts. He wrote compelling stories,
Where the politics are just part of the story.
woven intrinsically into the very fabric of the narrative, embedded within the motivations, actions, and consequences faced by his characters. The reader doesn't feel lectured to. They experience the political realities through the eyes of individuals grappling with them, their loves, their betrayals, their fears, their very survival.
The personal makes the political real.
Exactly. The personal relationships, the love triangles, the fragile friendships. These are all inextricably intertwined with the larger geopolitical canvas. This deeply human-centered approach makes the complex geopolitics digestible, emotionally impactful, and profoundly resonant. It transforms abstract policy into immediate, tangible, and often heartbreaking human drama for the reader.
So, focusing on the Quiet American specifically, what does it highlight about those enduring challenges of international relations and intervention that we still find ourselves debating today, decades later?
I think it vividly illustrates several critical, enduring challenges. Firstly, the dangers of ideological blindness.
Okay.
That unwavering belief that one's own system, ideals, or perceived solutions are universally applicable and inherently beneficial without adequately accounting for local history, culture, specific geopolitical context, or the inevitable unintended consequences. Pyle embodies this.
Right. The Quiet American certainty.
Secondly, it lays bare the moral compromises made in the name of political goals. It shows how individual lives are so often just collateral damage in larger geopolitical games. The novel forces us to confront the hypocrisy and self-deception inherent in certain forms of intervention.
Still relevant today.
These are themes that constantly resurface in contemporary discussions about foreign aid, military interventions, humanitarian crises, even global trade agreements. Greene, particularly through Fowler's cynical but ultimately insightful perspective, forces us, the readers, to question the narratives we tell ourselves about our own motivations when engaging with other nations.
To look closer at the gap between ideals and reality.
Precisely. To scrutinize the gap between our professed ideals and the harsh realities on the ground.
This all leads us then to the ultimate synthesis of his work, Greene's overarching exploration of moral gray zones.
the heart of it, really.
It feels like this is the central pillar of his enduring relevance, especially for online readers and those navigating today's complex global conflicts.
That's precisely it. All of Greene's thematic threads, his literary artistry, his deep religious inquiry, his incisive political critiques, they all converge in his masterful depiction of these moral gray zones.
He really understood ambiguity.
He possessed an unparalleled understanding that life, particularly human decisions made under immense pressure, rarely presents itself in stark, unambiguous black and white. His characters operate perpetually in these murky waters,
Forced to make difficult choices.
compelled to make choices that are neither wholly good nor entirely evil, often with profound and unforeseen consequences that ripple far beyond their immediate impact.
And that resonates online.
I think this is why online readers, who are constantly bombarded with a deluge of information and conflicting opinions, find him so compelling. They see reflected in his work the same kind of nuanced, often uncomfortable reality they observe in complex global events, in political leadership, and even in their own personal ethical dilemmas.
He mirrors the complexity.
He offers a mirror to the world as it truly is, not perhaps as we wish it to be sometimes.
And this offers a tremendous benefit for any learner, doesn't it? Immersing oneself in Greene's world can provide a framework for understanding situations where right and wrong are not easily defined, offering multiple, often contradictory perspectives.
Yes, it's almost a form of intellectual inoculation against simplistic thinking.
How so?
Well, in a world that often demands quick judgments, binary choices, good versus evil, us versus them, right versus wrong, Greene teaches us to pause, to hesitate.
To resist the easy answer.
He encourages us to look at situations from multiple angles, to strive to understand the often complex motivations behind actions, even those actions we might initially condemn. This ability to hold conflicting ideas and perspectives in tension, to grapple with paradox and ambiguity.
It's a valuable skill.
Incredibly valuable and rare, especially in today's information-rich yet often simplistic media environment. His work doesn't offer easy answers. Instead, it encourages rigorous critical thinking.
Wow.
By demonstrating that complex problems rarely have simple solutions, and that moral truths are often arrived at through painful personal struggle rather than through dogma or rigid ideology. It's a vital skill for anyone trying to make sense of the world, really. A shortcut, perhaps, to intellectual maturity that moves beyond surface-level understanding.
Why is understanding moral gray zones so crucial in today's environment, where everything can feel so amplified and immediate, pushing us towards those binary choices?
Because the immediate and amplified nature of modern media, particularly online platforms, almost invariably pushes us towards oversimplification. It's just easier, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And faster.
It's far easier and often more immediately satisfying to categorize, to label, to pick a side, to rally behind a clear-cut hero or demonize an unambiguous villain. But real life, and particularly complex global conflicts, defies such convenient categorization.
Life is messy.
Exactly. Understanding moral gray zones allows us to resist that powerful urge to demonize opponents or to blindly idealize our own side. It equips us with the mental flexibility to comprehend that people can hold legitimate, deeply held, yet conflicting beliefs.
And that outcomes aren't simple.
And that outcomes are rarely purely one-sided or entirely attributable to just one cause. This nuanced approach helps us move far beyond binary thinking in understanding complex issues, whether they're personal, national, or global.
Fostering empathy.
Fostering greater empathy, more sophisticated analysis, and ultimately, I think, a more accurate and compassionate understanding of the world around us.
So what does this all mean for us? We've taken a fascinating and expansive deep dive into Graham Greene's enduring legacy and his surprising resurgence in 2025.
It's been quite a journey through his world.
We've explored how his masterful blend of popular appeal and profound literary depth, his prescient explorations of faith, intricate politics, and those ever-challenging moral ambiguities continue to captivate and challenge us.
They certainly do.
His work offers a unique and incredibly valuable lens through which to view human nature and global affairs, providing a sophisticated framework for understanding the profound complexities we face today.
A framework we perhaps need more than ever.
So here's a final thought for you, our listeners. As we navigate an increasingly complex and polarized world, what can Greene's unparalleled ability to hold conflicting ideas and moral dilemmas in tension teach us about finding clarity and understanding within our own moral gray zones?
A pertinent question.
That's a thought to carry with you, something to reflect upon long after our conversation ends. We hope this deep dive has offered you some powerful new perspectives and maybe sparked your curiosity to explore Graham Greene's rich and challenging world for yourself.
It's certainly worth the exploration.
Join us next time on Trending Unpacked.